70s.
See, I've got some Tupperware that color.
Yeah. I do too,
It
one
was a
of them.
big color in the 70s.
Mhm.
It's an avocado green.
Harvest gold.
Harvest gold
Well, there's the
avocado.
harvest gold in the back.
Yeah.
You got it covered.
Okay, you are live on YouTube and you are recording.
All right, let's begin. Welcome everybody. Start our work session. One of the things I thought would be beneficial, I think I forwarded out to y'all this Drug Dealer Liability Act lawsuit. I think y'all, we've already been updated some by Lois, but this is a new twist, and so I was gonna let her update it. We need to be prepared to vote Monday night, so.
And this came out rather quickly. There was a ruling from the Chancery Court in Sullivan County about how this lawsuit was handled moving forward. We've researched our history about payments we've made on law enforcement matters. That's all been submitted as a claim. And as this lawsuit began, it was the DAs representing all of the municipalities and all of the counties in the district. And throughout most of the time period covered, our investment in law enforcement had been payments that we made to the county. So all of that added up to just under $1 million. Now, the county's claim, I'm sure, is much larger in amount, but if there is a portion of that that's reimbursable, we don't want to be left out of the process. And the theory here of these lawsuits moving forward was that they were going to pursue in a civil lawsuit context the big actors, including billions of dollars worth of opioids into the chain of commerce and use medically throughout East Tennessee to make a statement to me that you can't be overprescribing this and making a profit on it off of the lives of the people in East Tennessee. So that's how the lawsuit worked. The most recent development was that because of relationships between the DAs and the counties versus the municipalities, the court ruled that the claims by the counties would go forward. The claims by the municipalities, if we wanted to continue to be included in that, then we have to say so. And there are things happening in terms of these lawsuits very soon. In fact, I'd say probably today or tomorrow, the hearing date was set. So if we want to be included, we got to get our money in the pot, so to speak. And the way to do that, if we choose to, is to pass a resolution in support of the DBLA lawsuit. That's the resolution that you have before you, the one that will be before the board for actually voting on. Will look a little different because we'll put our logo on it and all that kind of thing. There won't be the sponsor necessarily of the act or the lawsuit. And Branstetter, Strange and Jennings, the law firm that has been representing the DAs in this proceeding, has submitted to us retainer agreement which the board would need to approve, and it provides that there is no compensation paid by the town unless there is a recovery. So it's a matter of saying yes. Now that the court's ruled, we have to again affirmatively state we want to be involved. Here's our resolution saying that, and here's our retainer agreement. Representatives of the law firm may be with us. Let Tricia Hurstfield, whose letter you have here, know that when we would be meeting, when we could get it on our agenda. And she indicated she might be able to be present. It was their intention to send someone, and I told her I didn't think that would be necessary unless they wanted to, but she thought that they would be in the area. And I've also, perhaps, and if not, I've supplied them with the Zoom information so that they can Zoom in case you all have any questions. But that's the basic background. And if you do have questions, then I'll try to answer them so that you know what it is and why it came up so suddenly. But that was simply because the court ruled with an order entered April 5th that the towns to be involved had to affirmatively say they wanted to do so by May. So we're on a short time frame there in order to get that done.
So that was just informative, and we'll bring that for a vote at the BMA meeting on Monday. Okay, so just some background. Can you see that? Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Unless you all particularly want me for the next two work session discussions, I'll excuse myself and and go off for the day. You need to say for anything about?
I'm not aware. I think you can bail. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course, as always, when you're all looking at this, have questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them for you individually.
All right, now we go back to one of our favorite topics at hand, the employee handbook.
You do have an updated copy that I revised March the 15th due to BMA action, page 14. I've highlighted what I added for short-term disability benefits for employees, and page 15, a cell phone stipend. So that was the revision for that copy.
Should we just kind of take it from the top again and just make sure we're not missing anything, and then we can stop and hit on a topic we want to explore? All right, I don't think we changed anything on that first page. I think we were good going down through there. Hiring procedures. We do want to do background checks.
What page?
4.
Okay.
I think at least we had talked about whether or not we wanted to do background checks on all our employees. And
Yeah.
also in this paragraph, real quick, also in this paragraph, it is going to require that we do get our job descriptions up to date. And there was a few little glitches related to that, but that we'll have to recreate, but that's okay. We can get that done. And that'll be an ongoing project. So we'll get those job descriptions updated. And then applicants will know their duties, blah, 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 as it's employed candidates whose background seems best suited.
It doesn't say who gives them the orientation.
Correct. We'll be given an orientation.
The mayor.
Yeah.
Well, and what I'm thinking, though, actually, there could be more than one. Yeah, part of it could be the mayor. Depending on what the job is, it might be a supervisor in that area. Do you know what I'm saying? They really might could get a general and then something more specific related to the specifics of that job. Does that not, does that make sense? No?
How about said by mayor or assigned
Or designate.
or designee? Yeah,
How about mayor and or designate?
right.
And or.
And where?
That kind of covers it all.
One or the other or both. Could be
Is
both.
there a checklist we might figure out?
What we could develop.
Okay.
They're kind of a checklist here. Personnel policies, town history, tour of facilities, protocols, introduced to other employees. There's a few things listed right there.
Do you know, that way it's like a sign-out sheet that I really didn't hear about this. Just,
And then they can put it in their packet, yeah. Now, the other thing is if they're going to, this is my opinion, and Debbie can tell me if it's ever happened that she's aware of. If they're going to get a copy of the employee policy, they definitely need to sign that they received it and read it and have knowledge. So that may need to go on a checklist type item. I don't know that that's in here anywhere else.
Well, you did yours, didn't you? You signed off that you got your orientation, didn't you?
Yeah, the last sheet.
I think that was
that's
signed
the
off
sheet.
Last
Last sheet of the.
Of this. Okay, there we go. All right, yes.
My orientation was given to me partially by Michael, and the rest of it was by the mayor.
So I think and or is probably, that's fair. Okay,
I was just thinking, like, just like a grocery list, go check out.
and still have one of those.
Anytime, I think, from what I've seen in the personnel files, anytime there was a revision of this, the employee had to read it and sign it. And that makes sense, make changes to it.
That's reasonable. Reasonable.
So where does that need to be written? That needs to be written somewhere so that we abide by it. Here's personnel
Somewhere
on the top of that very last page.
Yeah,
Nothing in
that
this
thing.
policy may be construed as blah, blah, blah. It might be changed. Each section, in the subsections, and shall be deleted. Can we just add a sentence right there?
Yeah, that we did.
Can we just add a sentence right there?
Mhm.
Any changes to the employee handbook? I'm trying to think of the wording though. Any changes to the kind of unified personnel policy will be communicated to all current employees, whatever, and signed off, acknowledged and received or something. Just word something like that. Does that work?
That way,
And then we can give them a new piece of paper and they can sign the new piece of paper. Deal? And that way they're informed. Okay. All right, so going down, new employees, so we got that one. Now remember that we talked about background checks, but I'm not sure it's in here. We'd also talked about whether we wanted to do drug screens. So just keep those in mind as we keep going. All right, we had a good bit of discussion about exempt and non-exempt.
what I've got on my page 4 from the last time,
Okay, while you're thinking, on the last paragraph on page 4, I think we need to remove commissary time off because no one has any unless they've added some. I don't know about Debbie.
well, everybody has comp time as far as the kitchen director, communications director, and myself, and Andy Slagle. They all have comp time.
How?
Well, it's a number that is tracked. It's not a number that's gonna ever be paid. They just keep track of those hours. So when they want to take a portion of it, this is because I've talked to them all about this. When they want to take a portion of the day, they feel a little more justified in having some of those hours given back.
So it's tracked on the timesheet. If you use any of your comp time, and it's kept on the payroll in the computer. So if you earn comp time, it's on your timesheet and it's recorded in the payroll. If you use comp time, it's taken off of your, whatever you have banked.
It's always tracked.
but I
But
thought,
it'll never be paid out. It'll
It's
never
not-
be
It's not
paid
a
out.
liability of the town.
we don't say
No.
that.
Yeah, we do. Down in here somewhere else it says that, I'm pretty sure.
I thought we said the last time we talked about this, that the immediate supervisor and the employee that had worked over that was exempt would keep up with it individually and they would take that extra time the following week or so.
Well, what if you can't take it the next week?
Well, then you take it the next week, as soon as possible. I thought that's what we talked about.
It talks about it in the first paragraph under non-exempt status and overtime. If you read that first paragraph,
Where does this now, what page?
it's page
Four.
4.
Under
Under
non-exempt.
non-exempt. And it talks about the town is not liable for payment out in monetary form on the termination, resignation, or retirement of exempt employees.
Okay, I'm out, everybody. Exempt employees don't get comp time. That's what it says here in this paragraph. Okay, non-exempt employees could get comp time.
Well, I may be confused, but non-exempt employees get time and a half.
They get, right now, they can, if you go
They get
down
overtime.
the bottom, they can either get comp time or time and a half. That's not exempt people.
One way to solve it is put everybody on hourly wage. There won't be no questions about it.
You'll see it says exempt employees shall not have paid comp time. Exempt employees with the approval of their supervisor may take time off after extra hours have been worked, provided the employee's duties have been fulfilled. And John E. Lynch brought that up and made that clear. Okay,
Okay, well, for one thing, the heading of this needs to be exempt and non-exempt status. Because that first paragraph talks about exempt.
now, if you want to really make it clear, After exempt, put salary in parentheses. You want to really make it clear to people.
Well, then you need to put a parentheses after non-exempt and say hourly.
You have to put hourly after, that's right. You want to make it real clear for everyone. Because there is a major distinction between hourly and salary. Salary, as I have talked to several people here, if you want a half a day off or a day off, you go to your supervisor, you get it, and you're going down your way. That's salary.
Well, what really is confusing in this on this whole thing, I think, is the fact that the second section is talking about non-exempt employees, but it's getting confused with the exempt portion. So we might even need to,
You need to,
We
you
might
need to put
separate.
what one is and then what the other is,
Separate.
yeah.
or I agree, yeah,
Yeah.
separate, move it down to that
Yeah.
one. Non-exempt employees be paid overtime 1.5 times regular rate of pay for all hours worked in excess of 40 in a work week. Federal wage and hour laws require employers to keep an accurate record of time actually worked by non-exempt employees. They have a time sheet, correct?
Yes.
They have a time sheet. Compensatory time in lieu of overtime may be taken. These are hourly employees.
Okay,
Mark
right
that
now,
out. They don't get compensatory time, they get overtime.
well, right now, that's what I'm saying. Let's take that compensatory time, let's take it all the way down to 240 hours. But leave in all overtime work must be pre-approved by the employee's direct supervisor or department head.
So take out the two sentences that begin with compensatory time.
Yes, pay them overtime. Then you have no liability, and you don't have to worry about catching up down the road. That's agreeable. Wonder what your thoughts, Debbie?
You're talking about the people that are salaried?
No, hourly.
No, hourly, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, just pay them their,
Just pay them.
yeah, whatever time they worked at that time, and
You're done.
if they don't do it for 6 months, yeah, just
And that's
pay.
what we do. We don't
Yeah,
have
that's
any
what I
hours.
said, yeah, you don't have them left, none of it, no.
That's
Yeah.
great.
They get paid
Yeah.
time and a half.
Yeah.
They work over.
Just like in a factory, that's what you do, it's the same thing.
Now,
I think that made that clear if we separate those out
Yeah.
also. I think it's confusing.
Yeah.
They're both into the
I
same
know,
thing.
but
Yeah.
leave in.
Well, you got non-exempt, and then you turn it over to overtime, you know.
In the first paragraph, it says exempt employees shall not have paid comp time. Well, that
Correct.
sentence is nothing. It says nothing. I mean, it don't even need to be said because they're gonna get overtime.
No.
No,
Exempt is
no
salary.
exempt.
Exempt,
It's salary.
okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
exempt employees are not
Yeah.
eligible
Yeah.
for paid
Yeah,
overtime,
yeah,
so
you're
they're
right,
not.
you're right, y'all are right.
That was
Write your-
correct.
Write your salary up there, salary exempt.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, I think that's a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Because we really didn't change anything, we changed the
Yeah,
word.
yeah, where it was put,
Correct.
yeah. And then that settles that once and for all.
Anything else on your notes that we need to go back and
So we're
look
gonna take them two
Not on
sentences
that
out.
page.
at? All right, are we good with that page?
We taking those two sentences out, is that?
The two sentences that begin with, your page looks different than mine. The last two sentences that start with compensatory time.
Correct.
That
Page
page
for
is
the
a little bit
X.
different than yours, but it's probably.
I bet, see, I have attendance at the top. And so, yeah, compensatory time. Yeah. Take those two
So it's all
sentences out.
needs to change.
Yep, that's all on page 4.
Okay.
All right, attendance and punctuality. If you'll be absent from work, notify your supervisor. And again, we've got to get the organizational chart put together, okay? So everybody will know who their immediate supervisor is. Employees are expected to be punctual, absenteeism, frequent, blah, blah, blah. That all make sense? Breaks and lunches. Thought by labor law, 6 hours, you get a 30-minute, but if you go to 8, you get 2 15-minute paid breaks and an unpaid 30-minute lunch. So we don't need to write anything. It says breaks and lunches, but it doesn't
See, technically, I don't think that there is anything that in the labor law that says that you have to give 2 breaks.
Oh, I thought for 8 hours, you're going to perform unpaid.
It's 8 hours.
I thought you had to take a 30-minute break.
You don't have to take, oh, go ahead.
After 6 hours of work. You have to take a 30-minute break away from your desk.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
It automatic, when people clock in and clock out, it's automatically deducted off.
Like
If they work
say,
6 hours.
if Wanda's been here 6 hours, she needs to get away from her desk and take a 30-minute break, at
Correct.
least a 30-minute break.
Or pass that on your desk.
She said, look, she was
Correct.
Rhonda.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Rhonda.
oh,
Rhonda.
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 Oh, that's-
She said,
Yeah,
she said,
Rhonda.
yeah, I got a 30-minute. Well, I said 30
I
minutes,
just checked.
have I been here 6 hours?
hours in office. Trash on my desk.
Really?
Yes.
I just think that's a little bit confusing there with breaks and lunches, but if y'all want to.
Or do you want to break it down and put it?
Okay. I mean,
That's okay.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know, does
It
anybody?
did- the lunch
does
word is
anybody
never
take
even
a
in the
break?
paragraph.
I don't see Rhonda taking a break. Does Trish take a break?
She does, but it's not right at the 6-hour mark. It's like she goes to lunch normally for an hour each day, sometimes only 30 minutes, but most of the time it's an hour, except during our busy times. And it's normally, she'll go at 2 o'clock or anytime. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, depending on how many visitors we have coming through the door. But she keeps food in the kitchen. So even if she doesn't take a lunch break till 3 to go run errands, she's already eaten.
Well, I will tell you that the employee can come back and go to the labor board on you.
That's correct.
so we couldn't do that in nursing and get you nowhere. You ain't on the run.
You can't-
What-
More education.
even though they're so, willing to do that, willing to not take a break,
Mhm.
and you think, oh, well, this will never be a problem,
It's
it
mandatory.
could be a problem.
Mhm.
That was just the way it was set up when I got here. She's never had an issue, but we can absolutely schedule her lunches at a specific time and force her to go during that time. That's not a problem.
Well,
She-
yeah, you're right.
Everybody that's
Can't- one
hourly
take it
needs
one
to
time,
take a
one the
30-minute
other.
break.
Well,
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But David's right.
But a lot of times, like, especially if, like the other day, for example, she decided she wanted to take her lunch at 3 because there was an event going on that she needed to go to for
Yeah.
something. And so,
Yeah.
Again, it hadn't been an issue up to now, but we can absolutely,
Well, I
Give her an
think
actual
Rhonda's
lunch.
about it, but that's a fact.
It's fact.
we can do that.
I agree. You're right.
Yes, your word against hers.
I know for a fact.
Oh, I mean,
Exactly.
I didn't tell her to do it,
That-
didn't tell her not to.
But that's reality. It's her word
Yeah.
against
And
yours.
everything was
And you're her
great as
boss,
long
you're
as
gonna
she
lose.
was that
Well,
person.
again,
Yeah.
we can make her take it at whatever time that,
Yeah.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden-
when I came on board, I said, how does this work? How do you do your lunches? And she said, oh, I go in the afternoon.
That's what I made the comment
I said,
about.
okay.
And then
Nobody
the
had an issue with it
person,
at that time.
you don't care if I eat or not. It doesn't matter, because I'm an exempt employee.
Okay, and
I
labor
don't-
law doesn't apply.
I don't have,
Okay,
I
just
don't have to
hourly.
have a lunch.
This is hourly.
Yeah.
Just hourly.
Okay, so maybe we need to say hourly employees.
Okay.
Why don't we clarify this as hourly?
And she is hourly.
Yes, she is hourly.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, put that
Hourly.
hourly.
That's fine.
Yeah.
it doesn't say anything about salary or anything else.
Okay.
Breaks and lunches. And it doesn't say anything about lunch in there, but the little subtitle says breaks and
Right.
lunches.
Right.
This is 30-minute unpaid lunch break.
Oh, there's lunch.
It
I'm
said
so
at
sorry.
least a
Okay.
30-minute, doesn't it? It says at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that covers us, but add hourly.
Now, are they
so
still
that's
getting an
clear.
hour to take lunch, or do they still get an hour to take
Yeah.
lunch?
It
Says
says
at
that
least.
she has to take at
They
least.
have to at least take a
They have
30-minute
to be
break,
away
and
from
get
their
away
desk.
from their desk. So
Okay.
whatever they do, they gotta get away from it.
After 6 hours,
Mhm. After 6 hours, yeah.
which would be 2 o'clock for true. But anyway, okay.
Well,
And most
but
of the time, she does go before that, but not always. It-
But
it
no,
just
What
they
time
don't
she
have
go-
to
she
wait
gets
that
in at
long.
what
No,
time?
she doesn't
Nine?
have to.
Nine?
No,
What
she
time
doesn't have
get
to.
at 9
Yeah.
in the
Comes in,
morning?
All right.
comes in at 8.
Do we do performance
10
appraisals
o'clock, so
annually?
she's-
That may need to be changed to will.
What now? What's
We
The
this
word
change?
may, performance appraisals may be conducted, and that may needs to be changed to will be
Well, we
conducted.
changed it last time to shall.
My copy, which is,
Mine says May.
Okay,
But, no, what
okay,
I'm
that word
saying
didn't get
is,
changed, okay.
We talked about this and I marked through it because
Mine
You all
says May.
decide.
Okay, let's
we
put
would do-
shall.
performance appraisal
Shall.
shall be conducted
Same thing as will.
annually.
That way it will be instead of maybe. Shall be.
So that was just
Or
a
will
change that
be.
didn't get changed
Shall.
on the,
Yeah, shall
Well,
be.
I haven't changed anything that we did on the last work session.
oh, okay,
It's
okay.
still, it'll go before the board,
Okay.
you all will approve it.
All right, town hall maintains an official record of each employee, all changes in status, promptly reported. As a public office, we're subject to. Okay. That's all right. You good with that one? Tobacco. We're banning it from our whole facility. Illegal drugs in the workplace are dangerous.
Go back up, go back to BACA. Don't leave me on the BACA yet.
Okay, good.
Okay, I've got a little note here. What is penalty if caught violating this tobacco policy?
Disciplinary action. Some kind
What
of
would
have
that-
steps with it. Step
There's
one,
one
two.
right, I could write one right now, violate this policy
Nearly every day.
every day.
Let me tell you about an issue that I had at Unicoi Elementary School one time, and it just got under my skin so bad I couldn't stand it. There was a bookkeeper at Unicoi, or she might have been the secretary over there, but anyway, employee. And the principal and her didn't typically get along very well. And so as supervisor of health and safety, I got a complaint from the principal that the employee was going to her car to smoke. And I think at the time, smoking in the car was still okay. And what it boiled down to, I asked him, I said, is the issue that she's smoking? What if she was going to her car and eating Twinkies? Would you still be voicing this complaint? Well, yeah. I said, well, why? What is it about her going to the car eating Twinkies that would have you so upset? Well, she's taking too much time away from her job. That's your complaint. Your complaint isn't smoking in the car. Your complaint isn't eating Twinkies in the car. Your complaint is she's taking too many breaks away from her desk and just wanted to pin it on the smoking. I was not a smoker at that time. I don't know. It just went on. Don't be so cheap about it. You know what I mean? If you have a complaint about the work performance, have a complaint about the work performance. Don't pin it off
Don't
on
pick it on
smoking.
one thing or
Don't
another,
look,
even
keep it on
another.
smoking, and that just ticked me off. I'm so sorry. I'll never forget that. I was mad at him. I said, don't even get me involved in this. It's your problem. He didn't last as principal for very long. Debbie was probably there. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
How does that relate to?
Well, it's like, how does Danny, and I think we're all knowing it, saying, how does Danny's chewing tobacco interfere with his ability to do his job?
But it's not just him.
Okay, how does any of those interfere with their ability to do their job?
Well, if we're gonna.
That's
have a-
I guess that's what I'm getting to. How does it impact them doing their job?
We are going to promote a tobacco-free workplace environment. Which is what we're promoting all over this town. We have to enforce the policy.
If not, we do away with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know that tobacco is addictive, whether they dip or chew or whatever.
That's correct.
I mean, it's bigger than just you can at work. You can't on the property.
Or the,
It's just more complicated. I guess that's all I'm getting at. It's more complicated. And I guess I have a little bit of sympathy with the folks that use nicotine a lot. I mean, we tell our students when they go to clinicals, they cannot smoke. And we tell them, get some nicotine gum, get a patch, do something. Do something for those hours that you're in these facilities. You cannot even smoke in your car on these properties.
but this is different. We own the property and we own the vehicles. And I thought this was moral for years, and we actually helping them out rather than people losing their tongues. And a friend of mine lost his tongue, he lost his throat, then it went all over his body and it killed him from chewing tobacco all the time. If we're gonna be good stewards for our people, we need to continue to promote safety, health, and welfare of the citizens. I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I think all that sounds right and good. But, and I'm gonna be really sarcastic, Roger, forgive me, I'm gonna play a real cynical card here. Are we gonna say we can't bring fudge and cookies into the office either? Because those are extra calories that nobody needs to eat. You cannot put candy bars in that basket anymore.
It does not look good to go in somebody's office and there's a spit bottle half full.
Not in their
on
offices,
desk,
no.
Okay?
No.
How would you like as a woman to be stopped on the road? That's sticking right there, and ma'am, you was speaking today. I'm sorry. Yeah, but we're in control of this little 16 square miles. Them other people, and either way y'all want to vote, I don't care.
All right, okay, well, Roger,
It don't matter
think
to
on
me,
through
but
it.
we have this rule.
Okay, enforce it. Give me a scenario.
Either
enforce
get rid
it. Give
of
me
it-
a scenario, enforce it.
A scenario would be, we just do a disciplinary.
And then what if they
A
don't?
verbal, we do a verbal, then we do a written, and then you do a second written, which could be a dismissal. Right, Debbie? That's a 1, 2, 3, correct?
Usually.
That's what we use in animal shelter. We give a verbal, then we give a written, and then we can give a final, or we can send them home for 3 days or whatever. That's what we do. And that's what we have to do.
Do you actually see that happening? Do you I guess we're such a small body of people. It's not like we have somebody sitting in the wing ready to step into the next spot.
But yet, if we're going to promote, a tobacco-free environment everywhere, we have to enforce things.
We put that on every one of those rental things that we did the other day, those rental forms the other day. That was on all of them. And by the way, talked to people today at the gas company and they're thrilled to death that they can rent any of our properties.
Well, yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is.
Just saying
It's a good
that.
thing.
Okay, let's just see how it pans out in terms of discipline.
Now,
for it.
okay, everyone has to sign this document after it's updated and approved. And at that time, we're gonna say, people, we're gonna hold y'all to everything in this document, and we'll see how it goes.
They don't have to quit. They just can't do it at work. That's,
They just can't do it with nobody's watching. They can't do it with somebody's watching. That's what's gonna happen. It's not gonna change anybody's behavior. It's all good intention, but I don't think it's gonna change anybody's behavior.
Do we have in here the 1, 2, 3 disciplinary policy?
I don't think that we do.
You don't think? I don't remember seeing it.
I don't remember seeing it either. It should be in there though.
Should we include vaping?
That's tobacco products.
No, vaping can be an oil.
I don't know, but
I
Vaping isn't
would,
tobacco.
because it's offensive for somebody
Vaping
to
can be
blow that mess at
THC.
my face. I mean, I've had it happen standing in line.
Vaping and e-cigarettes. Yeah, I had a student in the commons area at the hospital, spraying in their
Different
vape.
than e-cigarettes, or is that
They're
the same
different.
thing?
They're different. I would put both in. It's
So
like
Debbie,
that's
you're
what
saying-
people say, I say e-cigarette, no, I say vape.
So Debbie, you're saying we have no, do you think of disciplinary policy?
I don't think we do.
Because see, we worked on one at the animal shelter. We had some issues. We had to write people up and actually let people go over it.
But if you have 1, 2, 3, surely after 1 and 2, they're gonna get it. I mean, they're not getting fired on 1 or 2. And
Now, I know in here it says on someplace about, depending on how severe something is, you could be let go on the first event. You don't have to get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's things that can be done that you're fired immediately. There's no question. There's no,
Yeah,
Right.
no, because you
Yeah.
can't
there's no
justify.
counseling.
May I ask
It costs too
If you
much.
had someone with numerous things, you would fire them over the tobacco use.
What have you?
I don't
If
see
you had-
anything in this handbook about
Had
discipline.
one,
You had multiple.
Okay, well, we'll have to make sure we add something. in.
Okay,
All right, are we ready to go to alcohol and drugs?
absolutely.
just for the
I have
back,
an
we're
issue
not
with
talking
this,
about
okay.
other things on there.
We hereby prohibit the use or possession of controlled substances. We further prohibit any employee. Hang on, let me get my pages in order. Any employee from reporting to work while under the influence of any controlled substance. Alcohol, heroin, morphine, marijuana, hashies, cocaine, diet pills, depressants, tranquilizers, PCP, LSD, designer drugs, or any other mind-altering substance. Well, every psychotropic drug that somebody takes is an antidepressant, is a mind-altering drug.
Yeah.
Now,
There's one, you're a nurse, there's one exception to this. If it's been prescribed by a physician, then they have to come and tell their supervisor that they have a medication on, right, Kathy?
depending on what drug you're talking about.
Well,
That's my health record. I don't have to tell you what medications I
no,
take.
but if you've got something that may affect you like this, that could get you terminated.
I don't think you can, I don't, you're forcing them to give up private and protected health
Well,
information.
that's, I've seen
Now,
that,
now say at Moral, at other jobs, you get drug tested if there's an incident.
we did.
Okay, so you can
Also,
drug test if there's an incident.
But Regal also had, if the doctor prescribed you a drug that might inhibit you from working, you had to come and tell your supervisor that you had a prescription drug that might affect you. If you didn't tell them and something happened, they would terminate you immediately.
I might fear that I'd get terminated anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't report it.
Anyway.
I think that violates that person's right to privacy.
That's the policy Regal had.
I think that violates their right to privacy.
Now, I'm not picking on the maintenance man, because this.
They're just the only ones here that can't defend themselves.
No, no,
Talk about it.
I'm just
sorry.
saying,
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
any maintenance man, okay?
Mhm.
A saw is very dangerous when you've got
Mhm.
full capacity.
Mhm.
Maybe if a maintenance man, and not speaking of ours at all, needs to saw one day, and he's had to have a tooth pulled yesterday, and he comes in today, and he's have to have some pain pills, he can still make it through the day.
He shouldn't have driven to work in the first place.
Well, But he really don't need to be operating a saw. Maybe there's another skill he can do today instead of running.
Well,
the saw.
maybe he needs to flex off to something else.
No, but
Now, if he wants to divulge it to say, I really don't feel like I should be handling that saw today, he can
Mhm.
divulge it. We can't require him to divulge it. Her, him, it, them, they, he,
and
she.
you know, even we got vehicles on the road. We're liable, even if it is a prescription drug.
If they wreck in one of our
Yeah.
town
We're
vehicles,
liable.
you immediately go for a drug test.
So I don't know, I don't know where this needs to go. I'm just saying, what if? I what if everything, so. that's
Well,
just
number
me.
one, I don't think we can require an employee to divulge anything they're taking. I think that violates their right to privacy.
There's a line, there,
We can request.
Let Lois review that one.
Okay, there are so many drugs out there. People get too sleepy and groggy on Benadryl. They shouldn't operate a chainsaw on Benadryl. Or they take too much melatonin at night. There's just so many things out there.
Kathy.
And that's non-prescription.
It's over the counter.
Mhm.
Kathy, I had an employee that worked for me, and he had a condition where he could be sitting and working, just all at once, go sleep,
Narcolepsy.
okay? He got fired over it. He got fired. And he didn't work for me when he got fired, but they fired him over it, and I went, whoa,
you bring it back.
no,
Did he sue?
no. You could have.
Well, hey, I had employees that I didn't know the truth about when I had my control. But that big old meat slicer that we sliced turkeys and hams and roast beefs on, my little list of who could operate it was about that long.
And that's your right as
Because
the employer.
I was liable. And everybody knew you don't even walk by and touch it, because you might hit the wrong button. It's the liability, and then to have an employee hurt is bad. And again, I'm not picking on no person today. This is just for anybody that might be an employee.
And I guess I'm trying to look at it just in a very realistic manner. I understand that we want to be safe and want to protect them, but how far do you go before you reach a point that it's unrealistic?
But you gotta have guidelines.
That's just how far do you go before it's
You hear me?
unrealistic? Yeah.
If you don't have guidelines, then everything goes. So
Okay, moving on. Second paragraph. It talks about the town of Unicoi shall require employee drug testing or alcohol screening. Let's take out or alcohol screening because the drug test will kick all that out. Correct?
But now this is if there's a violation. This isn't like pre-employment either, remember?
I know. Now, if you remember, at the animal shelter, we had word that we had 1 or 2 employees on drugs. So what we do? We made everyone go down and get a drug test. We did not want to discriminate against any one person. So they would all go down and get a drug test. No discrimination. Everybody did it.
You said to take out what, Roger?
Or alcohol screening for pre-employment, post-accident, for reasonable cause, or return to duty.
Before return to duty.
Yeah.
I think it should be before return to duty.
Okay, well, there you go.
But yeah, alcohol is not separate. It's included in the drug
In the
screen.
test, right, okay,
Now, what it doesn't say here is who's paying for the drug screen.
we do,
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so we need to make that clear.
we do.
We don't, nothing in here about how they're gonna get down there. If we don't think they are capable of driving, is somebody gonna drive them down there?
You
Yes,
have to, yeah.
yes,
I think that's what they do in some of the places.
Huh?
I know a nursing home, that's what
yeah,
they do.
yeah.
We do the police department.
so they take something.
No, if they do their employee, I know the nursing home, they will drive their employee down there to be tested.
So they can't stop anywhere along the
That's
way.
right.
That's
Mhm.
correct,
And
and they
a
only give
gallon of
them,
water or get a urine specimen.
Yeah.
and we only give them so long to do it.
Mhm.
Like every how many minutes it takes.
I think
to
that'd
get
be
to
great. At
wherever.
the high school, I usually ended up being the one that went with them. We'd stand over there at the lab at
Oh, well,
the hospital.
So we'll work on that one
You
out.
babysit it.
The last thing I think we should add,
Okay,
need to add random drug testing, one chosen at random every 6 months. What does everybody think?
okay, is
No.
this
Well, I think you
is,
could just put random at any time and that don't,
Well-
so you want everybody tested every 6 months
No,
No.
at random.
at random?
Put your names in a hat, pull them out.
Yeah.
Now, water department was using it at the place on Carolina Avenue before they went out of business. They had the names in the computer and they'd hit and they'd call down and say, you've got so long to get to the hospital to get a drug test.
Yeah.
And you could get chosen 2 times in a row. It's just purely at random.
Mm.
The railroad done it all the time.
I'd get called
And
down to
Walmart
vocational
does it all
school
the
because I had a bus driver's license and I'd have to go over to the bus garage.
Yeah.
Meet T-Dot over there. People. It was exciting.
Well, how did y'all deal with it, Debbie?
You're
That's what I was
quiet.
gonna say. How did you all deal with it with the city?
Well, we had 250 employees in Elizabeth. And it was
That would be expensive.
random
Mhm.
drug testing
Mhm.
Was it by department or overall?
overall.
Is this salaried and hourly?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, be all employees with it.
All right. Ethics. Boy, we jump around on this thing, don't we?
I'm good on the rest of the page.
Mhm. Okay, that right there at the bottom of that telephone usage does mention the compensation for telephone. So we probably ought to combine what you put in yellow. Do you think with telephone
Yeah,
usage?
that's on page 13,
Fif-
14.
That's 15, yeah. Do you think they ought to be in the same space?
Yeah, however you wanna do it. Add cell phone here.
Yeah, or put cell phone stipend underneath telephone usage? Just move it to there. Since we're talking about phones. Now, Roger, you had an issue you called me about, or you texted me about. If the town is paying a stipend on your cell phone, does that cell phone and your text messages belong to the town? I think they do. They're town business.
See, but our attorney said that even if we don't get the strike in,
You're still business.
even if we don't get paid 25, if we use our personal phone for town business,
It's like our personal computer at home
they can still get our phone and for exploratory,
and download,
yes.
They can get a search warrant and take it and whatever.
download information off of it. Okay, are we
And I
all
sent
good?
that, didn't I send that to y'all?
Mhm.
Are we all good on that?
I did, right.
All right, everybody understands the use of their cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay,
And usually that's if there's litigation or something, they just don't do it all the time out of the blue.
Right.
They
Right.
usually if you go into
they have to have a
litigation.
cause, they have to have a cause.
Yeah,
And I want to send that to you all, just sharing that information.
Yeah,
All right, so we're gonna move the cell phone stipend paragraph off page 15 to the bottom of page 6, right?
Yeah.
Email, internet, and social media is blank.
What?
Mine just has a title and there's nothing there. Internet, email, and social
yeah,
media.
just says email.
That was added by
Okay.
resolution last year.
What's under it? There's nothing under it. It
What?
goes to personal appearance.
See, I'm using that old one, the 20.
Okay, turn it back around here. Face it this way. Come here. No, not the front, the page.
Here,
Page
pass that
seven.
Is
here.
that the internet page?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't have that one with me. I didn't bring that old one with.
you don't have that?
Let's see what this looks like.
So here's the title,
That's the one we got last time, right?
on
Yeah,
six.
and then what's the next page?
And then there's a whole other paragraph and then
That
there's
is.
the cyber security.
That's what this is.
Okay, I don't have
This
all
was
that.
the last one that we had in the last book, in the book that we had at the last work session.
Okay,
Is that not from your book? The last-
no, the one you laid out on the table is what I'm using.
Mhm. That's one I'm using.
No, the one you laid on the table is the one I'm using.
The one I laid on the table is the one that has the 2 updated cell
Yeah.
phone and the.
Okay, they're still numbered pages 7 and 8, but the information's not the same. Should I go over to the copier and make? We're just
Page is it?
missing, we're just missing that page right there. You want me to make a copy of it? All right? All right. We'll take it. Not hard to do.
Which one's the best, Debbie? That one.
I like Calvin name.
You like which one?
Calvin name.
I always like that.
The verbiage is good too.
You want Debbie? You want her to pass you one?
No, I'm good. I'll keep in that today. I want to make a
See, she
piece
said
of
it's good. You got what? The one you make sure.
Where'd you go? You ever go out the other one and that one?
It's too far.
It's really good.
I've heard it's really good. It's a little too far.
Just want some more.
That's for Roger.
I like to have it take home. No,
Yeah. My problem is I wouldn't take it home.
Actually, you want a
when I
copy?
get it.
What? Here comes one for you too. You can look at it.
Copy of.
What we're talking about, the
That was the
internet.
page that you might have.
The internet and
yours.
social media.
That's the one you may have had that one, but it's on the. This one was
That's the
where it had
internet and social
internet,
media
now it's
page.
just blank. The one we got.
They can watch it on YouTube.
See right here, where it has internet.
Okay, so on my page 7, on what I have on the table says internet, email, and social media, but the content of that topic line is on the page I copied,
Okay.
page 7. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Mhm. because it's both the same page, so
Yeah.
that would be easy.
All right, now this is the employee policy for internet, email, and social media. Y'all are the one that deals with what's his name that comes and keeps us clean from viruses every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, some of the AC.
Well, this right here, so I know back sometime, I think early last year, I had this record-keeping policy that just did emails, scam, social media, all of this, and this was added by resolution, I thought. And then we have the email signature policy. And I know that was passed.
Maybe just hamburgers or something when we have these work sessions.
And I think they would follow those internet social
Yeah,
media.
it'd be on there.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't do any of that stuff, and I couldn't hear it. He do, you like that?
Depends on my stress level, whether I eat
That's
or not.
right, you worked that out.
Would it replace what's here, Ashley?
I don't know, I'm reading what's here real quick.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
The only thing I noticed going through there was that, I just made myself casual note, should personal equipment be connected down first, no. So that's just no.
What did you say, Roger? I couldn't hear you.
That no personal equipment should be connected to town servers.
How is that possible with cell phones? We connect to the Wi-Fi, which means once you connect in, you're in.
Well, you gotta have security. Okay. I'm just saying, we gotta have security.
What are you talking about, for viruses and stuff?
Yes,
Okay, so anytime anybody comes and does a presentation with a flash drive, we're running that risk.
absolutely. It's
So are we to tell people they can't put a flash drive in? I mean, just think,
you gotta be real careful, and
but does that mean
How
they
do you
can
know
or
until
they
you
can't?
put it in?
Does that mean they can or they can't?
I would
Even
say,
if they emailed it to us and we opened it, there's a risk.
all I can tell you is the company I work for had some policies you wouldn't believe, okay? And of course, now the other part of that, it says here, all files placed on town equipment shall be backed up into additional physical locations. Okay,
At least 2 places.
To me, if they're bringing a flash drive, I don't like that either, because, you know, we pay a lot of money for our software,
yeah,
our files.
They could download our stuff.
They could have a virus on there and not know it.
Mhm.
And if they go into our system, now the one thing about it is our payroll software, accounts payable, all our next gen software is only on 2 computers, here and in there. Okay, it's not, I would prefer them to bring their own laptop.
Instead of
if they're gonna use the screen, they need to bring their own laptop.
Yeah.
We have a situation at this next BMA where the librarian is bringing a flash drive.
If they bring their own computer, how do they hook in?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not.
Yeah,
not
the
a
whole
tech person.
virtual, the whole virtual
I
world
don't-
just complicates
I
all
don't
that.
think, but I don't know, the librarian. I don't think
Unified
that that's
Library.
connected to our
Library.
network.
What?
That-
This computer?
Yeah,
How's,
I mean, into our software, our next gen software.
shouldn't be connected to the software, I would think, but it's connected into your internet. Once you can get into the internet, and from my understanding, you can do almost anything. I don't know, I'm not a techie. That would probably be a
Well,
question for,
So
Vince.
ask your man, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Your
not even,
computer man.
so.
Yeah.
but I mean, I've always, I don't, when I go to McDonald's or Starbucks or something, I don't connect to their Wi-Fi, their guest Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
Because once you do, anybody else could hack your phone. So I just prefer to, if there's a guest available and I want internet, I use my hotspot to give myself internet. Because I don't want to connect to an unsecure.
But David's right, somebody's gonna bring the flash drive in. that computer they're using should not be hooked to our system.
Right, because it could be hacked.
It should not be hooked to our system.
It's not directly hooked to that software by any means, but just the fact that it's hooked to the internet, that's where I think, once you get into the internet, you can get into kind of almost anything.
Well.
I don't know, I would have to
Probably
ask
you
them.
got
But
the
you
tools.
But you got firewalls, you got to put out.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to.
Then we got firewalls.
I know that firewalls exist, I don't know,
Right.
that's a bit thing.
Transfer and whatever.
That just keeps, they have to go, they gotta have the tools to do all that
That's
stuff.
exactly correct. Yeah.
Actually, the flash drive is now the next topic of cybersecurity.
Right.
We
Yeah.
kind of jumped ahead, but.
Now,
that's okay.
get back to my 2 additional physical locations. Do we have all of our stuff backed up to the cloud or a separate CD or a separate hard drive? What do we have, Debbie?
Our next gen software is backed up every night.
Okay.
5 nights. My Excel spreadsheets, any Excel files is backed up to a system that Vince has set up for me to back up to.
Where is it?
I guess it's in the cloud.
Well, let's see.
Where most everything is these
Let's
days.
see, the problem is, if we were hit with malware or something, if you don't have it separated someplace over here, it's gonna get everything. It's wiping everything. out.
Mine is separated.
Yeah, your 2 is separated, you said, yeah.
The cloud is separated, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we gotta be careful.
The cloud is
Well,
separated.
you could check with your computer man and see,
Well,
You know,
we have.
but that's
My
that's
next
all you need.
gen, all that is backed up every night, Monday through Friday. And then the rest of it, he comes in once a month and does a virus check, and, checks everything out. Goes up to the welcome center, has gone to the kitchen as well. So I feel pretty confident
What's
about
in
it.
that? I have a question not related to this page. I've wondered this ever since I was started here. Do we have a list of all the town's computers? And do we have a log maybe in your office of all the passwords and stuff that?
We have a list of all the passwords. We basically have to change everything. When you have an employee that's, has left, you usually change everything.
But as they change things, or they log into you, because I change mine sometimes. First of all, do we have a list of all the computers that the town owns
Yes.
and their locations and all their current passwords?
Not their passwords. The only passwords that we have, what we use to log into different things. Like, I don't have Ashley's password.
Now, on my Google Drive, and I don't have this for Trish, I only have it for me. But Trish mostly uses my logins, except for her email. If I die tonight, whoever takes my place logs into my email, goes to the Google Drive, goes to admin and clicks passwords. And there's an entire spreadsheet of where, what site it is, what the password is, what the security question is, all of that.
Get you.
Yes. That's when I can't get in here, that's what I pull up on my phone.
Now, my IT folks at TCAT, if I totally screw up my password and I say, gosh, can you help me? What's my password? They said, we don't know your password, but here,
Here's how you
do
get it.
this
Yeah.
and you can go get a new password. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Mhm.
They don't want to know my password. They don't know passwords.
Somewhere in here it says that Debbie's supposed to have all the passwords. And if anybody changes anything, they're supposed to give her that password. I'm trying to find it.
It's
If
the
somebody
third paragraph down.
If somebody became sick
And
and somebody else has to fill in,
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, Debbie's supposed to have every password for everything in town.
Is that something that could be maybe on a departmental basis?
These are set by town management and cannot be changed except by permission of town
The
management.
town manager didn't set my password on my mailing over there. I did.
So I get to write you up.
I
poor
mean,
Sandy, she's going to jail.
this is not,
I don't know anywhere that sets them for you. I mean, at the med center, I
See,
set my
I
own
feel
password.
funny even about having it on your computer. You know,
The only password that was set for me by the Med Center was payroll.
So,
Every other password I used was my own.
so does this
It's
need to
cool.
be
It was
changed
fine.
then, not to include this, you think, or?
What it
Okay,
says,
here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think if something were to happen, Vince can get past the
I was
password.
gonna say that
Vince
too,
can get
yeah.
past the
Yeah,
password.
you
IT
can
people
always-
always can. They can override.
Vince can get past the password.
But again,
Information technology, people can get past the password. It's not gonna keep somebody from getting
I'm
that.
not worried about that. Because she's got, these people comes in once a month. Let's just say Ashley's gotta be out of town. Everything's great today, but what if tonight something happens, she's gonna leave for a month?
Well, she already told us
talked
how
to
to
her.
do it.
Have
She already,
communicated
she
with her.
already
I
No,
told
but
you that
just
she's got
saying,
access
what if
to
she
it.
got sick and couldn't talk? I mean, these things that
We can get an
Well,
IT
Trish
person to
knows
go
that.
past the password and get into that.
And Trish also knows
that,
what.
Trish
that,
knows
that
what
Trish-
Lois looked at,
Trish
that
knows.
Lois looked at that.
I don't think we got, well, her computer probably got a lot of stuff, but the others shouldn't have nothing on it great big, but I understand everybody wants to control their own computer, but there's situations. And these people don't work independent, they all work together, so just saying, they might be a situation. I got a little book at my house. And I got 5 pages of passwords and all that stuff. So if I kick a bucket, Bart has to figure it out. The little book, go to the little book.
I just constantly have to change passwords because I can't keep up with all that. But anyway,
Well, I put mine in the book because I can't remember them all. I got the
well,
book.
then they make you change them.
Well, then I changed the book. I changed the
I
book.
just keep adding asterisks. If y'all ever try to get into something mine, just add an asterisk. That'd probably get it.
Add an
Okay. I have 20 asterisks after something. Update your password. Oh, here's one more. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I just think a lot of this stuff in here is just a lot of verbosity that just annoys me.
I agree.
Do we really need to have this whole paragraph up there about the internet's an important resource? We must remember not all internet users have the town's best interest. We must be alert for viruses. I think everything in that first paragraph is just mumbo jumbo.
Lois wrote all that.
I think it's mumbo jumbo.
Lois wrote all that.
You know why? I know why she wrote it too. She wrote it because an employee that had been terminated, this was reactionary to an employee.
Yeah.
Reactionary.
She's being precautious.
Whenever that happened. Whatever, I'm fine.
It's just
I have
ridiculous.
45 passwords on this list.
45?
45 passwords.
Yeah.
That gets added, I'm adding daily, because you create a new account.
I
So
know.
every
I
single
just
time I
will
change
not
one
make
of my
new
45
accounts.
passwords,
Yeah.
I have to
I will
contact them.
not create a new account. You have to create an account? Nope. Over. Okay. Sorry, kind of like the code. but over. Okay. Really, can I trim that down some? Would y'all allow me to trim that down some?
yes.
That is just
Yeah.
nonsense. And then we'll talk about those other passwords. Okay, cyber security, I'm just gonna trim that page down. Will y'all leave that page with me?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Cybersecurity.
All right, page 7, internet. Okay, personal appearance.
But you wear no halter tops, actually.
Ooh, I don't even want to see that. Nobody
I'm
wants-
teasing, I'm teasing.
Nobody wants to see that.
It says that. Oh, Lord.
I think you've had some past directors that had some, pretty thin.
Now, wait, backless shoes,
That's ridiculous.
blue jeans. We can wear blue jeans on rest down days.
Which has holes in them.
Or other, yeah. blue- and-
Well, then why
and
don't we
blue
just take
jeans.
out or other attire which has holes?
Take
And
out
no
blue
holes.
jeans.
Yeah, we can take out blue jeans and leave, or attire with holes.
They're allowed to wear town logo shirts. Where are their shirts?
We have
Like the
to purchase-
t-shirts for Strawberry Festival.
We have to
That's-
purchase our own shirts.
And they use them at the events, you know.
And
Yeah, whoa, whoa,
most
whoa,
people
whoa.
don't.
Stop. Employees are encouraged to wear the town logo shirts at all town events. Do you say we don't furnish them?
Well, no.
Now, the town
I've had-
did,
I
I
was gonna
ordered some
say-
shirts out of a catalog when I was first alderman.
Yeah, now as far as like the logo shirts,
Mhm.
no, you have to pay for those on your own, out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
As far as the Strawberry Festival shirt,
Mhm.
we give you one
Mhm.
for the day of the event, Well, I have multiple appearances that week and I need to be wearing a Strawberry Festival shirt every week. So I have like 4, 3 of which I bought with my own money because even though I was doing my job, I was only allowed to have 1. So the employees that work the day of the event, they get 1 t-shirt with the strawberry shirt for that day.
Any event, if they're required to wear a shirt at any event, we should furnish those shirts.
They don't
Well,
buy
she's
that
saying
in
she
anyways.
knows
They
what
don't,
they
they wear whatever t-shirt they want to any other event other than Strawberry. They
No.
don't wear, we asked if they wear a town t-shirt that they have for a past event, but they don't. They show up in just like it, so we
It
don't enforce
says
that.
employees are encouraged to wear the town logo shirts at all town events.
But we probably don't supply them any, so
Well, we should,
the maintenance man, we should.
Yeah, well, if you're down there selling, at our tent, you need to have our logo shirt on.
And I think didn't, on the alderman, you gave each one, the ones that worked at Strawberry Festival, a shirt.
If they worked, if they took a shift and worked. The rule we had is we had people saying, you know, I did this one little thing for 10 minutes, I need a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That t-shirt's expensive to the town. So, we had it to where if you didn't give, now with this exception for the alderman, because you guys only have, how many hours? Did you work? 2 or 3?
I think I worked about 4.
About 4, okay, well, the rule that I have been going by is if you give me at least a half a day of service, volunteer service, we'll give you a t-shirt. But, you know, 10 minutes because you ran down and did this
Yeah,
one
you
thing
just cut
for us
them off
doesn't get us.
good or
Yeah.
anything, you don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fair.
fair.
You know, $16.
Well, we sell them for 15.
The board.
My price has gone up this year. They're normally $7.95 something a shirt. The price has gone up. I'm not sure exactly what it is this year. It's because their material has gone up because of.
$10.
Where do you buy them?
I
I
mean,
mean,
And as long as it
That's
has
chicken
the
feed.
town's logo on it.
To me, it's chicken.
Where
feed.
do you buy t-shirts?
well, they had been being purchased from ET here or a place out of Knoxville, I believe. I am using
Town could pay for it.
sure.
Local.
What's his name?
BMA, as long as.
At Irwin Apparel, the one in the back, the red vinyl design.
Well, I'm just wondering.
Matt's been really good to us. He's given us a discount so he can put his logo on the back. He has been great to work with. So I do all my stuff through him. Prior to me, it was going through Knoxville, I think.
Mhm.
We just have to have the size and.
I'm like Roger. The shirts are nickels and dimes for them. And if you need 2 or 3 t-shirts, I don't care that you get 2 or 3. I don't think you
Oh, I have
ought
my receipts on my
I
desk
don't
from
think
where
you
I
ought to
paid
get
you.
10, but if you need 3 t-shirts, that's fine. You
Because,
know,
because that's, you bought it part of your performing your job, you know.
that, like I said, that's $30 if they went up to $10. I don't-
I will encourage, no, I will tell the men they have to wear town logo shirts at the Strawberry Festival.
To identify themselves.
That's exactly correct.
Well, I also think when we're talking about
At the
this,
Strawberry Festival, they do.
our maintenance men would look really nice with the town's logo on it. Either, it don't have to be their preference, a button-up shirt or some kind of work shirt with our logo on it. So when they're out here around people's homes, people know who they are. They're recognized. You know, our trucks should all have the big logo on it. Our equipment should, every piece of our equipment should have a logo on it. So people recognize, hey, they really are doing something, you know? I mean, it's, works 2 ways. And then there was no doubt who was at their house or in their yard or their ditch, because after a while, you know, just like the water department, they were, you know, I mean, you just recognize the shirt
Or when
before you
feel
see,
these,
before you see the face. So I know it might cost us a little bit, but
Well, I was having a sidebar over here with Debbie while y'all were talking. There's an embroiderer company, facility, who has our town of Unicoi logo ready. Anybody, just there's some options. Anybody can buy whatever you want to buy and take it. They will embroider it. Or the town could do an order and get the embroider on it. If the BMA wants all of us to like have a polo shirt with the town of Unicoi embroidered on it, we can develop that plan and we can request those and have them. We can wear them to meetings, we can wear them when we're represent the town when we go somewhere, whatever. I think the town could supply one. I think after that, you need to purchase it on your own. But you can get polo shirts really cheap and get the embroidery on. You know what I mean? It's not gonna break the bank.
Or it
But,
could just be
but I
an
think we
iron
could-
on. I mean, if you
well,
want.
we got a few iron-ons. Anyway, okay.
But the main, okay, go ahead.
Okay, now if we want to supply our maintenance guys with something, I don't think that's a bad idea either, so that they are recognizable and identifiable. I do, instead of, oh, look at that guy out there on the mower, or look at that guy out there doing that, if they could be identified as county employee, I think that would be good, as long as they're in the right place where they're supposed to be, which I think they will be. So, you know, we can look at, I don't know if we need to get them 5 shirts for the week, or 4 shirts and do
Well,
laundry, or
should
do
I-
we
can I
do
make
the
a
uniform
suggestion?
service, because
Yeah.
if the uniform services will provide you with shirts, pants, whatever. And they'll, you know, come and bring the uniforms. I don't know, it just depends on how.
Because I just think those T-shirts are much more comfortable to work in than those fabric.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to talk to
They're
them and
cool,
see
I'm
what they
sure.
like.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't even tell you what neither one of them wear every day. Maybe,
Just T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Just
T-shirts.
T-shirts.
maybe not the whole uniform, just
You
the
know, you could
recognizable
get them
shirt.
some T-shirts
Mhm.
that have county uniform on. I mean, it doesn't have to be a mark, it could be a stamp,
Yes,
you know, a stamp on a T-shirt.
I don't know.
No, just a.
No, it's
embedded
just a-
stamp.
Imprint of the county uniform.
Mhm.
I think it'd look good out doing things. People would get it in their head eventually, hey,
Okay.
that's our crew,
We
you
need to
know?
put that in our line for them, for me.
In the budget,
Talk about that. Okay. So
I
we
know
have an
that's
idea
not
of
in
that
this,
cost.
but
No, but that's sorry, personal appearance. Okay, are we good otherwise? Nepotism?
Good.
Harassment, that's basic harassment law.
Yeah.
Let me just keep reading real quick. Any employee feels they're subject should immediately contact one of the following people with whom the employee feels comfortable, the immediate supervisor, mayor, or any alderman. In the event establishing 2 or more. There's nothing in here about what the town is supposed to do, but again, work, harassment law, they may talk to any immediate supervisor, mayor, or any alderman. In our town, yes, they can talk to any one of those people. But I think they need to understand as well that there has to be an investigation. That's something that I think didn't happen, which ended up getting us into trouble. Do we need to say that? Does the employee need to know that they're protected and there will be an investigation? Not that y'all haven't done workplace development law, but I know because Debbie works at a public institution, like we have it like every year. If any student complains or faculty complains, there has to be an investigation. Is that not correct?
Yeah, and due process, yeah.
You have to follow through and investigate. It's required by law. So anybody that complains can trust that their complaint will be investigated. So the complainant is getting the due process. So should we say anything in there so that
You
the employee
can.
can feel protected?
yeah, you can. And usually that investigation is done by the city attorney.
Correct. That's in
Okay.
our charter, I think, isn't it, somebody,
Yes, it is.
right, Debbie?
I can't tell you, I had to go back.
Town attorney.
You're right about that.
But document it in there so that it can be done, or just so they know there's some protection. I think we hit an issue there a few years ago.
it's a fine line, you know,
Well, you could complain about whatever you want, and there has to be an investigation. If the complaint comes up empty, you got your due process. But there's a promise that it'll be investigated. And the other thing I'll say something about is retaliation, no retaliation for a complaint, right?
And that happens.
That is listed someplace, Kathy.
Is it workplace violence?
No, about retaliation. It's in here someplace.
Grievance,
I think is it when you can talk to the board?
right to contact.
what does it say if it's just all made up? And the person they've accused is innocent.
You're not gonna know that until after the investigation.
No, but
Okay, here it is, Kathy. Employee concerns and complaints will be considered fairly, rapidly, and without reprisal.
Where are you?
the grievance procedure on the next
Yeah.
page.
Great procedure.
Okay. But that's if they want to express a grievance. That's not a harassment complaint.
Well, now we talked about misunderstandings, agreements between employees, supervisors. That's all there.
I think they're two different
It doesn't have to be a harassment complaint, right? It's just any kind of complaint,
Any
right?
kind of complaint, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be something that we can let Lois look at as well. Okay. All right, workplace violence. Violence. There we go, with another complaint issue. Immediate dismissal. Here's immediate dismissal. The town through ordinance 0068 has a similar prohibition of unacceptable conduct by citizens, designating same as unlawful while on town property and the cost of all town employees on town business. Interesting. I need to go back and look at that. Are we okay to move to travel? Okay, we're going to travel. Political activity. I've got to work on the chain of command. I have that on my notes. Required to sign out all town equipment. What kind of equipment are we signing out?
Probably the video equipment that, I'm not sure.
We keep that up there at the visitor center. It used to be.
It used to be down
used
here
to be
and
down
sign in and out.
But really, the only people that ever signed it out were me and Lee. So it got to the point where we just kept it close to us after some issues down here. If you'll remember that.
Can we take it out? Huh? Can we take it out or we need to leave it?
Well, I'll leave it in case, say, maintenance man wanted to use one of our big drills or something. For example, chainsaw,
Where are you at, which page?
municipal equipment procedures.
9.
Okay, at the bottom.
Okay. They can check them out for personal use?
Yeah.
It doesn't, while in their possession, employees shall be responsible for the care and maintenance. It doesn't say they can use them for personal.
But that's what, that's it. We had the same thing at Laurel. Employees are required to sign out all town equipment. They don't have to sign out to use it on their own job. The only time you'd sign it out if you're gonna take it out and use it at home.
But they
Yeah,
shouldn't.
no,
they
but we
shouldn't
are
be
supposed to
taking
sign
them
it out for daily use. Like
Yeah.
Lee would have to come down here and sign a form.
But I talk about all equipment the boys you ever got. They don't sign out to come down here.
I don't think they ought to be taking our town equipment for their own personal
No,
uses.
it could be
That's-
gotten
that's
torn
what
up
that's
or they
for.
could lose it.
That's what that's for.
We need,
You take it out, I don't care.
we should, because I don't know if that loans them, let them have their equipment. Never heard of that.
No, I haven't either.
No.
Well, so we've got two different scenarios here
Yeah.
where some of the people in the room think that it was related to like the video recorder or video projector. And some others think it may be equipment that our maintenance guys can take out. So we've got, it has the word maintenance in there, but just says care and maintenance, meaning to take care of whatever it is you're taking out. What are we gonna do with it? There was one thought about leaving it in because we may go back to having to check out electronics. Or are we gonna check out equipment from the maintenance guys? I'm not gonna go up there and wanna check out a chainsaw. Are they gonna be the only ones that would want to check it out? You wanna go
For
check out
personal use?
mower?
It
I
shouldn't
didn't
be
think
for
things like
personal.
that were legal when you're dealing
I
with state
no.
government.
I don't think they
I
should be
don't
used for.
It's-
What belongs to the
Yeah,
town is
government
supposed to
is
stay
all.
with their equipment.
Why don't we take it out?
Yeah.
Take it out.
What about for the computer equipment? Is there a need to sign out for that? I mean, I don't know.
Everybody's, oh, it's kind of fixed where it is right
We got a
now.
list of
Yeah.
everything we have, right?
Yeah,
So-
you know where it's at.
Okay,
So
you
you're
want
just
to check it out.
Once it
Yeah.
has, there's no
I
other
mean, if Andy
employee.
wanted to check it out,
He-
he doesn't even know how to work. He's gonna have to have one of us to work it for him.
No employee is to order, purchase, pick up, or receive items without prior permission. Is that absolutely true? Is that kind of what happens? Lee
I don't
orders stuff
think-
without
I
you
don't
knowing.
think- I mean, the department heads order for their own department. But I don't think that Tony and Danny should be, ordering stuff.
They can go to Lowe's and make
Yeah.
purchases.
That's true.
They can go to
How
Jones
come-
Hardware
how
and
come
sign
Lee
out.
orders stuff without going through you?
Cause she's got her
Well,
line
she has
item
her own budget.
budget. She's
She
got
has
her
her own
budget.
budget and she orders, her equipment for her grants. But she does a purchase order.
Yeah,
We started a purchase order.
So is that enacted for everybody now, the purchase orders?
What we need to do is set up a purchasing procedure policy, which would probably be another work session. And set a limit on how much you can buy without doing a purchase order. Like, I can't see doing a purchase order to go to Walmart and get paper towels, paper plates, and cleaning supplies.
especially when it's a
whenever-
pretty routine
If
order.
you, right, if you go over a certain amount of money, and that's something that the board would have to
You know they
decide.
deliver.
Huh?
They deliver.
Walmart does.
Well, it's still the purchase that matters.
No, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
They will
Yeah,
deliver.
well, that's great. We get most of our stuff in bulk from Sam's. But if you go over a certain amount, let's say you could have a limit of $300, anything over $300, you get a purchase order for. That would be something that you'd want to set up in your purchasing procedures,
For your limits.
Then maybe a training for the staff on how to do that, because I didn't know we moved to a purchasing system yet. I haven't had to purchase anything in a long time.
Well, you don't really purchase high dollar amounts of stuff. I mean, you're kind of,
Mhm.
I will be this
various-
week. I'm gonna order some more of those, so be around like 500 one. Is that what you call big or no?
I think it's big.
Okay.
Where are you getting?
The hand sanitizing stands, I don't know where I'm ordering them from yet, because I don't have a problem with the ones we ordered last time, but they were difficult to get together. So I'm looking for somewhere else to order them from.
I think you should use a purchase order for that.
I can do that. I just didn't know we
But
got.
if you're gonna be running around to Dollar General or Walmart to get, supplies,
Little stuff.
yeah, I can't see doing a purchase order.
Well, she's used her credit card, correct? Correct?
She typically does use her credit card.
Well-
yes.
No, say typical, she uses her credit card.
Well,
And
not
she
just
brings
her,
you a
like
receipt.
she may use the Walmart card. We have a Walmart card.
It's her card, then she
Right.
brings you the receipt.
When you say her, I'm looking at her not personal, but her credit card that has her name on it, but it's county uniform.
But I thought you pulled all those back in.
Well, they are. She has to check it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you need a procedure. Now, I've got a question here where it talks about without prior permission of the town recorder. I've got, if you're out, who is next in line?
This would be Rhonda, wouldn't it? Would she be here to do it?
To check out the credit card,
No.
Prior commission.
It says no employees to order, purchase, pick up, or receive without prior permission of the city recorder. If you are out, who fills in for that?
Well, we were gonna put direct supervisor, city recorder or direct supervisor there.
Is that what you're gonna put? Right? Okay. How do you ask questions?
But the direct supervisor might be the one getting that, like she's a direct supervisor, she'd have to be checking with her own self, right? I mean, that's what it looked like, wouldn't it?
Okay, very good.
if I'd had to do my own businesses by all these rules, I'd still be working at Texas Instruments and they've been shut down 20 years.
Okay, we do need a purchasing policy. Okay,
We need a what?
purchasing policy.
Yeah, we've got one in the works,
Okay.
We need that.
but right now, my main priority is trying to get a budget ready.
Oh, that's another story, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's another chapter. It's coming up soon too, isn't it?
Very soon.
Okay. I'm done with that page. That's even about.
Recommended termination.
I think back up out of that occupational safety and health. We probably need to talk to Danny and Street to see what they have, because I have no idea what they have over there to work with. Roger's been over there, I've been in it, but that's some of the stuff they use is, you need safety glasses, you need shields on equipment and all that kind of thing, and I don't know if they have any of that stuff. Everything I've seen is just piled up in a pile, and that might be something our guys need to work
Well,
on.
they're supposed to have the vests, the glow, you know, if they're out doing anything on the road, they're supposed to have that on.
But we don't have a safety glass policy to my knowledge. We don't do any training. We have not yet done any kind of training, lockout, tag out, and all that good stuff.
Well, there are a lot of
I
videos
know,
on, you know, our insurance that we can
yeah,
tap into, for any kind of training, safety stuff.
I'm not picking on them, I'm just
Yeah.
concerned that they work safe, that's all.
But Kathy, remember, I asked that question 2 years ago, remember Kathy? About
I'm looking up
training?
OSHA requirements. I'm sorry, I'm not texting.
Okay, anyway, yes, they need, and another one I brought up was, besides lockout, tag out, was, a little blank.
They won't tell us nothing. I found
No.
out that they wouldn't even tell us they didn't have electricity over there. So they sure won't tell us that they don't have fire safety devices.
They need their t-shirts and we'll work in a uniform shirt.
Absolutely.
So she is a little bit there.
That is, but-
What was I throwing? I don't know.
Well,
Nurse
the other thing-
racer?
oh, what was,
They just logged in.
first aid responders, who all are first aid responders, that's our mayor,
Andy,
who,
Andy,
Andy, well, anyone else?
I think the maintenance guys could be first aid responders.
I bet they're not. Have they had a refresher? I used to be one, but I've lost mine.
Really?
I did keep
We
updated.
should have people that are qualified to do CPR.
How about the fire department?
But they're not,
They're
they're
not
necessarily.
employed, they're not, but they will respond though, won't they?
Maybe we need to ask your people,
Good.
because if you don't keep that date, you lose it. For first aid responders. I mean, here,
I would think that Andy
he should be.
he should be.
Do we have any,
All of our people should be.
do we have any defibrillators here?
We're not required by law,
I
no.
know that. But if you have a heart attack, I wanna,
We want to bring you back, Debbie.
Just let me go.
Don't bring me
I've
back.
had enough. I've had enough.
Oh, my God.
Offense, people just take me on.
Just let me die.
You like that.
Yeah.
Don't make this such thing, if I end up in long-term care, and I don't know who you are, take me out on leave, take me to the beach, take me out on a pier, and forget to lock it, and let me roll off the end, okay?
She don't
We'd
need
all
a
be better off.
defibrillator, she's telling
Well, I
us.
told Bart if I end up in the nursing home, he better have my hair dyed every month.
Good, great. Anyways,
You wanna look pretty there,
Say
don't
what?
you?
turn first aid.
Somebody else might be tell you what, I can't tell her right now, it's on TV, but she's. Remind me to tell you something after the meeting. What a friend of mine said.
all right, can we go to termination? We'll check on OSHA.
No, back to occupational safety, seriously, we need to ask those two men, we need to have a conversation, somebody does with them, to see what they need to do their daily work.
I'll put that on my agenda. I can do
Because I've been talking to them enough, they're not gonna tell us they need anything, whether they do or not. They're just gonna work with what they got, and I'm sure they need some things.
If they need earplugs and face shield. and-
Yeah, I'd say, I don't
And I
know,
can't wait
they should be wearing hearing protection.
Safety glasses.
If we train them,
They
if
have
they
hard
don't,
hats,
it's on them.
trees.
We gotta get
Hard
water
hat.
up there, Tim. We gotta get some bottled water. Yeah, we got it. Refrigerator.
All right, okay, I'm doing termination. The employee will be paid for any earned hours and for any unused days. The employee shall not be paid for unused sick leave. We will pay for one unused, but we won't pay for the other unused. What are we paying for? It said they will be paid for any unused days. And then the next
It's
sentence,
vacation.
they shall not be paid for unused sick. So we need to clarify that. Because it says two things.
The next line, medical, dental, and retirement benefits will be, can needs to come out.
Will be, can, yeah. Benefits will be, can.
See that, Debbie?
Yeah.
Will be canceled and leave out can.
Yeah,
At the end of the month or at their last day,
No, it's the
It said
end
at
of the
the
month
end
of
of
termination.
termination.
the month,
If
Yeah,
you
that's what it
left
says.
today, your benefits would end April 30th.
Mhm.
that's unusual.
No, that's law. That's pretty standard. Mhm.
Mhm.
I didn't ever know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
If you got hired today, your benefits may start
Yeah.
on May 1st.
Mhm.
I know, it's weird.
And go back and get my bills.
What are we gonna do with that sentence? Y'all, is it vacation?
We can add vacation, the employee will be paid for any, earned vacation hours.
Or any unused vacation days? Unused vacation
Yeah,
days.
I guess they're doing hours for an hourly employee and days for a salary employee. I don't know.
That would be for Lois, maybe.
No, okay, an employee will be paid for any earned
the
hours.
earned hours, if you're fired on Thursday and you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll be paid for those days.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. For any.
And you'll be paid for any vacation days.
Yeah.
that
Any
you earn.
unused vacation
Yeah.
days.
That you want for unused sick leave.
You will not get paid sick leave that you have accrued. Medical, dental, and retirement benefits will be canceled, yeah. When the town initiates, the employee will be paid for any earned hours and for any unused vacation. That sentence was correct.
Mhm.
Medical, dental, but it doesn't say anything about sick.
Okay, this is where,
Well, sick days are not a liability of the town.
Right.
Your vacation days are a liability of the town.
But because the first paragraph said when the employee leaves, that we're not gonna pay it, I think we need to say it in the bottom one too, instead of leaving it open. I think we need to be consistent. Unused sick days will not be paid.
Where are you? You've lost me there.
The second paragraph under termination,
Okay,
I'd like to enter a second sentence that says unused sick days will not be paid,
oh, okay, okay.
just to be consistent with both paragraphs.
Will not.
Yeah. Unused sick.
Okay,
And it says severance pay may be given, and there's no range about severance pay.
and this paragraph says, medical, dental, and retirement benefits will be canceled after the last day worked. Unless otherwise,
I guess if it's a sudden termination, you can do that, but if it's on good grounds, they get it.
Unless-
now severance pay.
I don't think we put severance pay in our budget, did we? Y'all last year?
No.
Okay.
How's severance pay going to work?
You have
If
to prove-
approved by the board, so if we like them, we Give it to them.
Well,
We
they set
don't,
up
we
on,
don't.
let's set up on review of the circumstance why they were terminated. You know, in other words, it's a judgmental call, up or down.
Not much like that myself.
But it says the
Do
board
you-
of merit all of it, all of us, not just the
I've
mayor.
only been here one time when severance pay was instituted, one time since I've been here. I've been here with some just gift money was given.
Yes.
But one time
We all
was
know
actual
that.
severance pay.
That was Gary Carver.
Really?
So only severance, and that
Why
was
did he
right
get
after I started here.
He was only here there too.
No, he was here
He was
A
here
month.
for- No, he was here a year.
Was he here that long?
Yeah, he was here for a while.
And you know why I know his name? Because his family has a big orchard in Newport.
And he's the city recorder in Cobb County now,
I'm
Yes.
confused.
or in Newport.
We did have a guy
Yeah.
only stated there too,
Yeah.
once upon a
I
time.
don't have any idea who that was, but okay.
Mhm.
I got their names mixed up.
Well, he was terminated because he didn't adhere to the dress code. He
Really?
didn't dress professionally.
I don't even remember it.
Was he bad?
Well.
He
That
was in his
the-
speedos. He was in his speedos.
Really?
Oh, nice. No, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. That would be code 9 violation. Okay. You said really, I'm gonna let you decide. That was what was. Anyway, he got severance pay. That's the only one that's been,
But I think we ought to
Severance,
give it or not give it. We need to me, we need to cross it out right there.
well, okay, if we're gonna put it in that anybody that's terminated gets it, we need to put some kind of a guideline for how much they get. If we're gonna say that we give it, then we've gotta have a standard for how we give it. We
Right.
can't give a
You
little
just-
bit or a lot depending on who it is.
I mean,
What are we gonna base it on?
Any-
And I'm asking,
I'm just saying, any board, it don't have to be
But-
this board, it could be
What
the
are we
next
gonna-
10 years.
what are we,
It says.
okay, well, what are we gonna base it on? How are we gonna know how much severance pay to give?
That's why I said take it out.
Take it out. We've only done it one time.
Yeah.
Then if we see we ever have to add it, then we could.
Yeah, take that out.
Okay, there you go.
I agree.
Take it out.
I mean, sometimes, last sentence, sometimes severance pay is like 1 month's salary, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Unless you work for ETSU as a basketball coach.
And you don't get anything.
Well, you get $450,000.
Oh, to finish his
Goodbye.
contract?
And he resigned.
And he resigned.
And he agreed to not salute the flag.
Mhm.
Well, I
You're
mean,
on recording. You're going. Okay, upon termination, employees are offered the opportunity to transfer into the nurse Cobra or continue the state health benefits if available with the employee being a. You can't just keep paying for your insurance if you're not employed here. How does that work?
I don't know
I
when
thought
they
the-
added that. I don't know.
We've offered the opportunity to transfer, but that would be them paying for it. In other words, that gives them some after they quit and we're not paying for it though.
Well, they can transfer to Cobra and that means they can keep the same benefit, but they pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, but yeah, they pay for
And
the
that's only good
cover and
for like
that's,
6
that would
months or
just give them
something?
option. That's them doing that. They
I
just,
think they have 18 months.
18 months of Cobra.
Let's
and
get
they
rid-
pay for it themselves.
That
let's get rid of
is-
that or continue, just take the rest of that out.
Yeah, and just let them, if
Or
they want
just
Cobra, then they
stop at
pay for
Cobra.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
then they can pay for it.
And Cobra's available, that's a federal government program.
Okay.
What are we taking out right now? Or continue the state health benefits after Cobra.
Mhm.
everything
Take
after
that out.
Cobra.
We offer the opportunity to transfer and that way they pay.
Is that
And
right?
take away
That's
if
right. They pay it,
available
That's up to them.
with the employee bearing 100% of the cost of such coverage, or just of the cost. period.
Yeah.
I'll stop
Bearing
with the
cost
coverage.
of the coverage, yeah.
So it'll read upon
Employee.
termination, well, that's separation as well. Well, it's
Yeah.
termination of any kind.
Yeah.
Upon termination, employees will be offered the opportunity to transfer the health insurance to Cobra with the employee bearing 100% of the cost. If employees will immediately turn in, they will turn in. Well, I don't know what to do with that sentence, predatory discharge is supposed to be in.
It's their option to go to Cobra. The towns get out of it once that happens.
It says,
Right.
but see, with down here, she's got on further, with the employee bearing 100% of the cost of such coverage. So she can leave that in. That's showing that they have to bear it,
I just bear the cost. I was
Yeah,
gonna
by
end
the
the
cost.
sentence with cost.
the cost of the coverage.
Okay. Okay, employees will turn in town credit cards, keys, and any other town property upon dismissal. Is that not a standard expectation?
But that's just letting them know they have to. That's one, if they don't turn it in,
Now,
that's.
let's say, for example, if somebody has a card that they checked out,
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
that way,
or if they travel,
yeah.
they come back. and-
Let me tell you something, over at the Dollar General, if they don't turn their keys in when they quit, they send the cops after them to their house for the keys. Now, that's true.
They don't want
The
nobody to get.
hospital, if we went with our keys, they gotta change the locks.
Wow.
Okay,
Now, we don't have, and I could see anything in here about discipline. You know, how do you discipline? Do you do an oral warning? Do you do a memorandum of, counseling type thing? I don't see anything in here that talks about how you've got termination, but where's the
yeah, it's not in,
written,
it's not in there. Yeah, I agree, it's not in there.
Kathy, did you see the one that we did at the animal shelter when I got off the? You ever seen it?
I don't think I did in detail.
Okay. Debbie, I can give you a good one. Show your verbal, your
yeah, I think you need to have something like that in here because, you wanna follow your policy when you're terminating an employee, if you have,
Or you're-
Yeah.
Disciplining, disciplining down
Well,
to
does
termination.
does the MTask have anything, guidelines on that too? Maybe,
oh, I'm sure they do.
yeah, so maybe look in maybe one of those or something.
All right,
And
so
I think Pathway's been involved in this before, hasn't
he has, we did a whole retreat afternoon on this.
Debbie, the forms that I use at the animal shelter, if I give Debbie here a verbal, I've got to record it, and they have to have witness and her sign it, then the first.
Yeah,
then the
there's gotta
first
be a
written-
witness for all of it.
Yes, then you gotta have that written down date, and that form has continuation of verbal, first and second. Okay, you've got the whole thing right in front of you. That's what you gotta have.
All right, that's a big deal that I think we need to make sure. Have we done the payroll and sick and holidays? Are we okay with all that? Or did we need to go back and look at that?
Okay, I got one comment.
Okay,
Second sentence under benefit. Third sentence, exceptions shall be made for emergencies such as snow, trees down on roads and flooding, if pre-approved by the mayor and our supervisor.
all overtime is paid at the rate of, that would be consistent with what we put in the other section.
And our supervisor.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that next sentence, should we still say hourly employees just to make it clear? Or do we not need, is that overkill? If hourly employees are called to work outside their normal work hours as set by their supervisor, employees shall be compensated for a minimum of 2 hours.
We need hourly in there, yeah.
Does the chief get paid by the hour of the job?
His salary.
That he's the one that's he's exempt from that.
I'll just tell you something, I feel sorry for him some days.
I know.
He got called in Saturday, I think, for 15 minutes.
We can look at that at budget time.
Just saying, it's tough on
Debbie,
him.
do we need to have anything in our payroll policy, or our payroll policy, excuse me, anything in our employee handbook policy about everybody being direct deposit? Is that an expectation we can put on people?
Yeah.
Direct deposit?
Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere in there we need to
It
add,
needs to be in our payroll.
yeah, direct deposit.
It should probably be this, payroll shall be issued bi-weekly on every other Friday, returned earned through the previous Sunday, should be direct deposit. Something
Will be
about-
direct deposit, so there's not an option.
Do we have checks now?
Some people still get checked.
Really?
We have a few board members that still get a check.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Hey, was there anything else about vacation?
So that benefits, we just need to take out for employees requesting direct deposit. If we're going to require it.
All right, let me go.
If we're gonna require everybody to be direct deposited right here, we need to take that one little thing out right there for employees requesting direct.
And just put that all employees will be,
Yeah, and if a
Maybe
paycheck is
be-
lost,
yeah,
that paragraph
will be
will come out.
direct deposit.
Yeah, we'll try to clean that up.
Now, you're saying all employees.
And board members, you want
Want
that
to
to,
add,
board,
want to add board members to that as well? Because you don't have any employees that are not direct deposit.
okay.
So our
So you
employees
would
are
have to
good.
put, so that would be all board members then. Oh, yeah.
It's easier, the bookkeeping is cleaner when everything's direct deposit, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
then you don't have to deal with this if paycheck is lost.
Right.
Or you
Do
don't have to
they
wait.
get it by mail or kind of pick it up?
I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't trust the mail.
No, I wouldn't, not what runs by.
Debbie hit me out here on where it talks about overtime will be paid through the Wednesday prior to the payday. I don't, due to bank deposit requirements, I don't quite understand that one.
now, I don't know that either.
It just sounded good.
Yeah.
I don't know about that either. So what do you do? I guess we should ask. You pay through the end of the
It
week.
will be paid through the Wednesday prior to the payday due to bank deposit requirements. I think before, back in the day, you had to have it in to count for that week's pay by a certain time. I think it's whenever the banks used to cut everything off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
Mhm.
We obviously do the payroll on Mondays, sometimes Tuesday mornings, depends on if we've had a Monday BMA meeting. We'll try to combine that, or a planning commission meeting, because we don't know who all is gonna be there. And if we've got a payroll that week, it's easier just to include the planning commission payroll in with the regular payroll. I'm talking employees payroll. And we have to have all that done and do the direct deposit in order for the employees to have it in their account by Friday.
Yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense.
So that's how we do it. Now, I don't know when this was written, and I'm not sure. I think maybe it might have been before there was a
Mhm.
payroll software.
Well, if you put
Well, so you
everybody
can-
on direct pay, this whole block could be taken
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing
you-
that's got you want
places
to
don't have
be
choices
replaced
anymore.
each
You're
You just
direct
do it.
You
deposit.
do have, we did have some people that, board members that did not, absolutely did not want direct deposit.
Well, that's not the consensus.
okay, you're gonna take those two paragraphs out, for employees requesting, and if the payroll is lost, paycheck, you're gonna take it out, right? Good. Thank you,
All right, y'all, we have about 15 minutes.
okay.
Do y'all wanna, I know light reading before bed, but if you still have any kind of questions about it, we're gonna have to look at it again. You know what I mean? And refine it again with our changes.
Well,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
plus he's gonna, he's gonna bring
And
a copy of the
we have a-
disciplinary action.
We'll have a whole list of things that Lois needs to consider.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, this last thing I put in your packet, we didn't put, this is not on the agenda. This facade grant thing,
I'll read it.
but y'all look through it. I think I mentioned it in the email.
Mhm, you did.
It's, the money has to run through economic development. Ashley educated me about it, and then I followed up with Tyler. Tyler did put something together for us, but it's, we've had money in the budget, $5,000 for a few years, and it's never gotten off the ground. But even if somebody wanted to do something simple, like paint their front of their building, put a sign up on front of their building,
Can I
The
apply for a new
tree-
sign?
in their parking lot, a sign where
At my parking? I need a new sign. Can I get a new sign?
you can apply. We're talking about, we're really thinking about this right here.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? This right
But it's a
here.
business.
Well, I
It's a
know,
view.
it's off the
Okay.
side. You
I'm
can
aggravated.
apply, read the
I'm
details,
aggravated.
Okay,
read the fine print.
could I throw out 2 or 3 things for David to work on? On holidays, it's
Well,
hard-
Oh, the employee policy still?
yeah,
Okay,
real
go
quick,
back,
real
go
quick,
back, go
real
back.
quick.
Yeah.
What page?
Under holidays, says, holidays paid shall not offset any overtime hours earned. Then it's got a period and there's something missing, or D must take that day, there's something missing there.
Day off probably, that might have been mine, to take the day
You with
off.
me, Debbie?
Are you talking
What
about
page is
holiday
it?
pay shall
Your
not
page
offset
might be
any
different.
overtime hours earned?
Then there's a period that it starts out little OR.
Okay, mine does not. Mine says holiday pay shall
Okay.
not offset any overtime hours earned. The personal day must be scheduled in advance with the employee's immediate supervisor.
See,
So that sentence
I got a whole sentence
is
going.
11,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's an old copy. And that was fixed at a meeting last year.
It just didn't
But-
get
but the
deleted
co-
out.
But was the copy ever, was the master ever updated?
Yes,
Okay, so that sentence is,
because
Okay,
on mine, it's correct.
well, I
On
got
my
the,
page 13,
this is a copy I got from the town. Now move on to page 14. It's just the damn question where it's talking about a female employee who gets pregnant. Talked about up to 4 months leave. Can they use their sick days for time off for that or not?
yes.
Then we probably need to mention that.
Mhm.
That's it.
yeah, once you're sick, you have to use all your sick time for you use your disability.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but I don't know what the answer to this is. Maternity leave, can they get short-term disability for that?
After all their sick time's done.
Really?
Or after they've had enough days off to get the
Didn't
short
know
term.
that,
But yeah, you have to use your sick time first.
but it's limited how long. Didn't know that.
Well, maybe not. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I ever used any disability time. But I remember I had to use my sick time before I did kick in. I think some disability to cover me for a little bit longer. Okay, so will y'all just read over this? The whole idea is if it gives an incentive. If somebody's willing to spend $500 on planting a tree or something, the town is willing to match 500 to help them get that done. Okay, so it's just a little incentive that will split 50-50 if you'll do something to the front of your business.
Is it $500 or that's the limit for it?
No,
No,
no, I
we
just
want-
threw that out. We're
Okay.
only putting $5,000 in the
Dollars in
budget.
it, so, okay.
But now that money has to be handled through economic development. So
Tyler.
Tyler Engel prepared this.
Does it have to be a business? I guess it has. it
Well,
can't
you
just-
know what? We'll have to read through. To be honest with you, I haven't read this in detail. I just got an email this afternoon. Okay? But it is something we talked about.
Yeah. the
Those
beautification
buildings,
of your
which
town.
it just says buildings. So whatever, there'll be a committee. You can request it. There'll be a committee, whether they approve it or not, whatever. I'm sure some of us will need to serve on the committee. But we need to make that happen because
Yeah.
this is making an incentive to do
That's
something.
right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the facade grant, and I know that the economic development needs to handle that. Do we write them a check for the $5,000? Do we do it in checks per business as it comes through?
She may have a better perspective on that.
My understanding is that it would be an appropriation, kind of like you
So
say
we write-
911,
we
here's
write
your
him a
money.
check for $5,000.
And they hold it.
They hold
use
it and
for
they
this
disperse
project.
that based on the criteria within the program.
And then if it doesn't get used, we'll have to figure out what to do about that. We'll have to figure out how to make all that work. Okay, another thing real quick, just in case anybody is curious. Roger has a little piece on this and I'll share my piece as well. I signed the contract with TDOT for work to start on the RW Bridge project. Summers Taylor got that bid. I don't know what conversation may come of that. I've already been verbally told that, or asked, if I have taken money from Summers Taylor. and I've been asked if I've made any deals with Terry Haynes related to the asphalt plant. So my integrity's been called into question, and I absolutely have not either one of those things. And I just, there's not even a question about it. It's just the answer's no and no. But I think when people are feeling threatened, they say things and ask things. They're just angry and frustrated. They're just frustrated. So those things have been said. I've been directly asked, and like I said, the answers are no. Our pockets are not getting padded by Summers Taylor to do the work we were trying to do to make that happen. Roger is experiencing the same thing with the Paddle Creek project. And I know that the Paddle Creek project is going to come up for discussion. And I know that there's just word of mouth. Of course, everybody talks all the time. I know that there's going to be a prompt to put it on hold. I don't think that's an issue with anybody. I'm just saying, nobody has to tell me. I'm just voicing my opinion. We really do have to focus on Massachusetts when it comes to a road project. So I don't really think, I guess I'm just saying, be supportive of your fellow aldermen. Do you know what I mean? It's really a shame when people get to the point that they want to start accusing people of, because we really just try to be consistent and fair.
Mine was written to me, an email.
Okay, so I just want to be
in my life, I've never taken
consistent and fair, just consistent and fair. So anyway, just when people get frustrated, I've got really tough skin. I told my school I can do it. Okay, I know it's not true, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It's on them. But people are frustrated. Just saying, people are frustrated.
Okay, may I add?
And then I want to add a couple more things. Go ahead.
Today I had a second person tell me that they had heard that I was in cahoots with Pete Purdue to fix the road so that they could do some more work up in Whispering Pines. And that's absolutely 1,000,000% false. This came up, you were here then, 3 years ago when we put in Marbleton Bridge. We all had to go down Paddle Creek. I brought that to this board that time to fix Paddle Creek, okay? And the administration said no. And so I asked again to put this to do a study. It's just a study. It's just a study. We're not moving one shovel full of dirt, okay? We have money in the budget. We got $200 and some thousand. But somebody started a vicious rumor that I was in cahoots with Pete Purdue. Folks, I've not even talked to Pete about this. Never have. I have nothing. But they're testing mine and Kathy's integrity. And folks, that don't fit it. And I'm gonna fight back if I find out who's doing it. Okay? That's just like during the election, certain person I know actually put in an article to the editor that I was wanting to form a metro government. Okay? I'd never thought about a metro government. People are spreading rumors to people. And if you hear something on me, call and ask me, please.
I think that's the part. Well, I will give respect to the person that did just directly say that. I will give respect for that. So that was all good. But anyway, so one more thing in response, I think most everybody was either participating or an observer at the Planning Commission meeting on Monday. Wednesday afternoon, there has been a meeting organized. It is not an open meeting. I'm not even going to be there because I take up 2 spots. I would take up a BMA slot and I would take up a Planning Commission slot. Vice Mayor Cooper is going to sit in for me. Bill Nuss is going to attend for planning. And he's going to do it by phone, which Roger, you may have to just have your phone charged and him be on speakerphone if he can't do Zoom, but he was willing. And Unicoi Clear, the town. If we put any other planning commission or any other alderman on, we had to advertise it as an open meeting. And we didn't want to advertise it as an open meeting. We wanted it to be a pretty tight, cohesive group. And the purpose of this meeting is to allow specifically Margaret Lewis and Court Lewis to tell us what they keep telling us they know, but they haven't told us. What we need to know, but they have yet to tell us.
Ditto.
Okay, and the meeting Monday night, they were saying, we've got information in the last planning commission or BMA or something. We've got information. We just want to have a dialogue. Okay, here, we're doing the dialogue. We're doing our due process, due diligence. So the meeting Wednesday will give them opportunity to share those things that they've been asking us for a time and an opportunity to share with us. So that's a Wednesday meeting. One planning commission member and one BMA member. That way it's not advertised as an open meeting. So I hope them, I don't want anybody to be offended or upset, but it just keeps it more focused and direct. Do you know what I mean? There won't be so many parties speaking.
I'm just kind of curious how the three of you all just looked at us when you've received some type of email that you've been accused of something.
Oh, I didn't mean to be looking
I
at
haven't
you. to say that.
accused you all of doing
No,
anything.
the woman that wrote me, she signed it. She accused me of,
I've had one by email
I'm trying to think how she said
and
it.
two verbally.
And what's she saying?
But I take money.
She said hadn't, she accused me of so much I
And-
had in my pockets.
She
Yeah, I did that in an
accused
email.
me of unethical compensation. And I can swear on my son's life.
Debbie, I'm sorry if y'all looked over. it. I didn't have anything.
Until this came
Well,
up,
all three of y'all did, and I think.
I didn't realize I did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
But,
sorry.
but until this came up, I had no idea what Grant Summers looked like. I'd never met him until this came up.
So anyway,
So, it is hurtful when people accuse you of stuff. And that, they just need to be mad. If they come and talk to me personally, instead of calling me up rudely on the phone or writing a big long email telling me how awful I am. And they will not budge 1 cent, but they expect all of us to budge.
and as mayor, I know that in that spot, I'm open to, obviously, when you put yourself out there, that's gonna come.
Yeah, that's.
And I think I looked
that's
over at you.
politics.
I think I looked over
Yeah, I
you
was
though
gonna
about
say
high
that's
school.
happened a
I
lot
taught
in the
high
past.
school. I've got
Oh,
tough
no, no,
skin.
no.
No, the person
Anyway.
that doesn't
When
mind
y'all
looked
start
at
talking
me.
about this, yeah, the email
But anyway,
stuff. But anyway, that is, I mean, we all have to have we're all accused. So we have to be very careful with that, but we also have to be careful that we're not, I guess, pointing fingers at others for things that we don't know who's starting it, because that's part of politics.
well,
Yeah.
the name was, I don't know about his, but the names were attached to mine.
Mine were
One of them
too.
was an email with a name and one was a person who spoke it to me at 2 different times.
And I've
I
been
know who
stared
said it to
down
me.
at the meeting,
I know who
Like-
said it to me.
like stared down.
I know
I
who
did
said it
too,
to
and I
me.
know who called me and talked to me like.
Mine were not
Like I
anonymous.
should.
I will
be in
give them
prison.
credit, at least they had their name attached to it.
So,
So
you know,
anyway,
and it's okay. I can deal with it.
but anyway, just saying, I've been willing to stick my neck out and I will stick my neck out when I think I'm trying to do the right thing. But I appreciate that Debbie even brought that up. I really, in my heart of hearts, even if we don't always agree on everything, I don't want our board to start pitting on each other. You know what I mean? I don't. I want this board to be careful and always give absolute respect to every and each board member. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if we disagree about something. I want us to all do pinky promises. Do you know what I mean? That we've got to be a functional working board. We've got to make sure we're all respecting each other.
And I try my best, seeing you three all the information I get. I've sent you a bunch of emails and stuff.
And I'm trying to send those Friday
Yeah,
things
you're doing
out
good
to
too.
try
I love
to,
the Friday time, by the way.
to Friday,
Did
to
you like that?
just kind of what the conversations have been.
I leave her alone a lot better.
Is that
As I
helpful?
find out stuff by the email, I don't like to come and see you and ask you questions.
All right, one more thing, we're going over, one more thing, everybody's tired. I'll tell y'all, on this next Monday night, we've got to move forward, or we've got to decide what we're gonna do. I probably shouldn't have said that. With the trail and the amphitheater plans. We have to. We have to. And they may get bid out and go over, they may come under. I can't imagine they're gonna come under the bid amount, but those are gonna be back in your BMA packets. Okay, for consideration.
And we'll attach the original resolution with each one of those items to, whether you to vote on or not about, the bidding process. In your former, work session book that we did on whatever it was, March the 8th or whatever, all the information's in there about each one of those grants. I won't do a packet and include all those again, because you have them, already in that notebook.
So we already have it.
It's under 1 and 2 of this book. Everything you want to know about the grant. I am going to put the resolution in there so you do see what was originally voted on to start with. But instead of including all that again in the packets, which makes it so huge, that where that is if you need to look at them to review.
Because with that way, we're voting on the regional ordinance, it's word for word to word that we're not all.
It's
Yeah.
a resolution.
Yeah.
Each one of them is resolution, and it has the amounts of what was,
Mm-hmm.
approved for those 2 grants to start with.
Going back to the meeting Wednesday, how many of those folks get to show up?
The town has got 4 and they've got 3.
So they got new information or something?
I don't know. They're gonna have an opportunity to share.
Now,
They're
who's
gonna have an
who's the
opportunity
four
to
on theirs? Roger, you said? and-
Debbie, Roger, Bill, and us, Lois.
Okay.
Their attorney apparently had a conflict and wasn't able.
Are we gonna record it?
No, it's not recorded, no. Because if it was
Debbie will
recordable, we could
take,
go.
Debbie will take good notes.
Mhm.
This is a conversation. This is for the purpose of conversation. Now, this is
Sharing
something they've
information,
asked for
it's
twice.
receive information.
They've
It's-
asked for it twice
So,
to sit with us and share information. So we're gonna sit.
so what about Summers Taylor? Have they given any indication of anything?
Take one.
So they're not on our meeting.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, you go land hand is-
It's
you can't
just
tell.
so interesting.
I have another question if y'all got just 1 minute. You talk about Massachusetts. We appropriate that money. And then all that paperwork from the engineer, he says we have to pay for the digging and stuff. When's that gonna be? Has he got a time frame when he's gonna?
To dig, to continue to work on the project.
Well, he said.
I mean, to work on the survey of it.
If I'm understood, just like down here across the railroad track where they just keep patching. Did he not say he'd have to have that dug up so they can actually look at it?
And I told him our boys might be willing to do that.
But we've not heard anything about when that can be.
No, she's working on it. I thought the
Okay.
girl was working on it.
She's working on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's working on it. Jill, don't worry, last name is.
I was thinking they said they wanted to actually see some of it, not the whole thing, just
Right,
the
yeah.
worst spots.
She's an engineer that did the RW State Bridge.
Okay.
Didn't Ty Singer do some of that? They was the one that done the work to begin with, wasn't they, on the down there in Massachusetts, yeah. I think they said,
I don't know
it's a
who did
rock
that.
problem
That's
or,
before my time.
That's
yeah,
correct.
I think
It was passing.
yeah, it was
Wow.
Ty Singer, and they said, it was an engineering problem through
Right.
them really, and, you'd hope that they would be responsible some.
Well, when I talked to Jill, I won't say Jill, I suggested, and she agreed that we need to get with Terry Haynes, and I'll meet down there and listen to Terry's ideas and what his experience is on the flooding and stuff before they finish their report.
And Roger, who went and responded to the asphalt falling away at Whistle Stop? Did Terry come out and look at Whistle Stop and
No,
the gas line was
no, I
exposed?
talked to Terry this morning, and he says he has his file on his desk that he did for the town back whenever it came up a year or 2 ago. And he was gonna let me know, and he remembers that 60 feet long and all this stuff, and we've already got it cleared to 811. I talked to John City, they got a 16-inch water line that runs between the tracks and Deli. But, everybody's on board, the gas company's on board, everything's on board now. Terry's got to give, Debbie a price on it. And they will have to work with the gas company to see if they're gonna cut the line off while they does it or what. I don't know how they're gonna do that. That's between them and
Yeah, that
Terry.
turned into a bad situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gas line.
When we get the calls from Terry, we'll do a work order. Roger made pictures of it, so we'll attach that to the work order. And then we'll move forward with fixing it.
And the other thing that I did today, I talked to the preacher at the church down here that wants to close one of the areas behind his church.
Alleyway.
Yeah, alleyway, and I was amazed. They own everything on both sides all the way up to the end, except at the bottom. And now we gotta dig the maps out, don't we, Debbie? We gotta dig the maps out of the alleyways. And I told him, I said, just give us a few days. We can't jump on it, but what they want, they got a cooler, a big cooler, like we got up at the kitchen, or maybe bigger, and they got it on the other side of the alleyway. And they want to move it closer to their fellowship hall, so we'll have it all together.
They
That's why,
distribute all that food down there.
yes, that's why they want to be able to move it, but they can't now because of the alley. So
Yeah, there's not anything, no water line or nothing running through
that's
those
far as I
alleyways
know.
that we know.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the reason they
Power
want,
lines or any, yes.
that's the reason they want to close it, so they can move their cooler next to their fellowship hall where they do all the work. So that's the reason.
And has that been done before?
Not there. I don't
Close an
think.
alleyway?
I don't
It's been-
recall.
It's been requested.
I don't recall that since I've been.
I think the
BMA.
reason why they said a lot of times they don't, just in case they need the right of way to go in and do work, in case something comes up, the town has
Which
to.
was something that Lois said, maybe, if we can, we need to reserve the right. If there's something in there, we might want to.
Right,
Yeah.
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 That
Be
if
sure
we
to look
did,
at
but
that.
we'd have the right to do it if
Yeah.
we did do that.
They're all over you.
They are.
Yeah, so we gotta
A
find
lot
the
of
map.
them, yeah.
We'll dig through the map when they work in a map file one day. Won't be
Well,
tomorrow.
let me ask you all this then. I know we can't decide today, but could we think about giving them temporary use till we get this figured out? Move. If he requests it.
He probably wouldn't want to move it till we get
Yeah,
into
we
that.
probably
Okay.
wouldn't, didn't have to move it back, you know.
Well,
If you look, he's sitting back, his fellowship hall here sitting way over here.
Now it's-
it's out, it's too far away for what they do.
Right, yeah, too far away. Yeah.
Ashley, just for fun, that's your blazer.
Yes,
Were you
Eddie
kind of
Blazer.
hearing with one ear?
Yeah.
Listening with one ear.
Mhm.
Okay,
Eddie
just
Blazer.
whatever, if,
It's
because,
Uniqua Church of God.
because he's involved, if you have a conversation with him and he may bring it up, just saying.
They do lots,
I didn't
lots
mean
of good things.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I did
He's allowing us to use the parking lot.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
he's
what
gonna
our interaction has been.
do like invocation and stuff. He participates in a lot of stuff, so
The,
he's a good
the
guy.
festival, the Strawberry Festival, the people park on our empty lot down there that
Yes,
you park there too.
where the one that
grassy
we
lot.
own,
Yes.
yes, they park, that's public parking.
I know.
And the school's public parking, except this year, this side of the school, this side of the school is gonna be vendor parking. And we have worked out an agreement with Eddie Blazer to use, as long as it's not raining, like big rain, we'll be using their lot down a little further, a couple blocks down.
Mhm.
All right, I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody being willing to spend the evening up here.
All said, all done.
Everybody's up to date.
Yep.
I gotta tell you something.
Auction.
Let me say.
Cousin, she went to Sycamore Shows this morning. We had to be there about 8 o'clock.